Hi, so my name is Charlotte Nicefaro, and today I will be talking about how men and women are still treated unequal in our world today. So, one of the main areas in our society where men and women are still treated very unequally is in the workplace. And one of the best ways that we see this is by pay. There's a very not huge pay gap between genders, but there is still a pay gap between genders for people, even if they're doing the same job. And not only does gender have to do with this, but ethnicity also does. So I just have a few statistics here that explain that. White women earn about 79 cents per dollar compared to white men. So that means for every dollar that a white man is earning, a white female is only earning 79 cents of that. And this continues to go down with the different ethnicities. So for African American women, they earn only 63.1 cents per dollar that a white man earns. And then for Hispanic women, they only earn 58.4 cents per dollar of what a white man earns. And that is a very big difference. That is over a 40% difference in pay. And so that's just something, this is one area where we really see it is in the pay. It has gotten better over the years, but it is still definitely a problem. And then another area where it really stands out in the workplace is for mothers, whether someone is already a mother or has to leave their job at some point to take maternity leave. Women who do not have children are more likely to keep their job than women who have children at home or have to take maternity leave at some point. And what I like to remind people of is that maternity leave most of the time is not optional, and it is something that is required for a mother to do, and it shouldn't be something that they are getting penalized for. Um, then I also have that since women are less likely to get a job if they are a mother, 94% of fathers are active in the workplace while only 70% of mothers are. And this is a very large percent gap. And a lot of the time, it's not. The 70% of mothers isn't that low because they are making that decision. It is not an option for them. Most of the time, it is because they can't get the job back because there are so many people that are trying to take that job, whether it be another woman or another man that the business thinks is more qualified to take this position. They have nothing tying the person who left for maternity leave to that job because they need someone to do it at that specific time. And then women who are mothers earn a lesser pay than women that do not have children. So that is basically just like a wrap it all together of like all of this information. So then this is just a chart I found of how much women earn relative to fathers and how it changes by age. So we can see here that no matter what, whether the woman has a child at home or doesn't have a child at home, they are getting paid more at all levels of life. So at all ages of life, men are getting paid more. So then another very, very big area where we see men and women getting unequal treatment is in sports, which is somewhere where I think it is very easy for universities and places to think that they're following the rules, they're following Title IX, but in reality, they're just finding ways to go around it in order to keep their male sports doing better than their women's sports. So, if you don't know what Title IX is, Title IX says that no person in the United States shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from the participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any education program or activity receiving federal financial assistance. So, this just is an overview. And so, at universities, Title IX requires men and women's sports to get equal funding. And what a lot of universities like to do, like I said before, is not follow the rule how it's supposed to be followed, but find ways around it. So, what a lot of universities do is instead of lowering the funding for their most popular male sports, the universities will provide more female sports and give those female sports lower funding and have less male sports and give those sports higher funding each. And when you look at when you group women's sports and their funding together as a whole and you group men's sports and their funding together as a whole, it does equal out. But in reality, each sports team is not getting the same funding. Each women's sports team is getting a significant amount less. So here I just have like an example. This is our University of New Haven athletic page. And if you go under sports, you can clearly see that the list of women's sports is a significant amount longer than the men's sports. It has about 4 more sports on the list. Um Here at this school, our main funded sports are men's football and basketball. Those are like the two main like very good sports at the school. And for women's sports, basketball, they're good, but they're not recognized as much as they should be. Another thing that we can look at here is the spirit group section and having the cheerleading team and dance team under the spirit group section instead of a real sport makes it so that the school doesn't have to recognize us as a sport and doesn't have to give us the funding that they would be giving all other sports. Next, moving on from in the workplace and in sports, we have where we see men and women getting treated unequally in the real world. So, I feel like this is just common sense in our day and age. Women fear for their lives in everyday activities that men can do with no problem. And I have a few examples of these and just like a little like proof behind the example and that it's not just like specific women having like, oh, I'm scared. And so one of them is walking to their car at night. And the proof I have behind this is some businesses actually make it a rule that a man has to walk the woman employee out to her car if she is leaving once the sun has gone down. This isn't a rule for men. Women don't have to walk men out to their cars because men can fend for themselves basically and they think women are too weak and women are the targets. So if anything's going to happen, it's going to be a woman. It's going to happen to a woman leaving at night. The next one is opening the door when they're home alone. Ring doorbells are a very popular thing these days, and this is a big part of the reason why. And then another example in the real world is going out to the bars, going out at night, hanging out, like going out with friends. Um, there are a lot of like cup covers that have been made, and a lot of them are made in designs that target females. Like a lot of them, some of the most popular ones are made in a scrunchie where there's a little zipper on the scrunchie and you take the cup cover out. And obviously, we can tell that the main target to roofie and to spike drinks is for women, and that is why the target audience for these products is women. Another place in the real world where we see this, we see stereotypes and standards so much where women are not allowed to stray out of a specific standard or stereotype, and neither are men because this is how they're supposed to be viewed. And one of them is women are not allowed to be too masculine or else it's out of character. And a lot of the time, people will make fun of them, say they look like a man, and then men are not allowed to act too feminine without being called names, and a lot of them are very derogatory, mean names. And another one is men can't cry and they're supposed to be the tough ones. And I feel like that one just says enough for itself. And so, right on this side, I have my final thoughts. And what I wrote here is women are looked at as less in so many different aspects of the world, and these were just a few. I see no right in this and think with the world we live in now and all the talk about equality, we need to start actually seeing more of it in these kinds of areas. I hope through these examples and the link back into sociology, others were able to see the reality of the world we live in just as I see it. Some things have changed for the better in these situations, but we need more to happen. We need equal rights to truly be equal rights and not just words thrown around to make it seem like people are doing what they're supposed to be doing. I really think that progression has been made into making men and women equal, but we still aren't at the point where we are equal. There are still aspects of life, some main aspects of life, where men and women aren't treated equally. And then I just have my resources. And that is all for my presentation today, and I hope you enjoyed and got some good information. Thank you.